Hey everyone, it's Rainey, and today I'm doing a video on tips and strategies for Football Coach College Dynasty. So if you're new to the game or just want to pick up on some new tips or strategies, watch the video. Okay, so we're going to start off with a normal game. Uh, you could go easy, especially if you're brand new. However, I think normal will be fine for you. We're going to upload a custom universe. It's extremely easy to do. I have a video already made to show you how to do it. So if you're new, it's not hard at all. Okay, we'll go ahead and set our images because I like having logos on the game. All these settings, if you're brand new, are not important. You can change some to add a little bit more difficulty, as in the school attribute cost. If you change that to very expensive or more expensive, it makes it harder for you to improve your school. A lot of different settings you can mess with. I recommend not messing with them in your first game. Just try to play it how the game is set on default. Okay, we're going to start off with a coach career mode. Gotta love the afro, looks good. Okay, let's go with Maui Bear. If you're on the Discord, you can probably guess why I named my coach that. First tip is to recommend you to go with a peer CEO coach. Your offense and defense as a head coach does not matter only if it's better than your coordinator, and you do not want that to happen. So we're going to go with a spread pass first offense. We'll go with a 4-3. Let's go balanced man look. Okay, so we can look at our possible offensive coordinators. This is actually pretty good for your first year. He'll be a level 9 offensive coordinator since you'll match with spread and pass first, because playbook and play call style, if you're able to match those, you get a +3 bonus. +2 for playbook, +1 for play call style. So our play calling efficiency will be a level 12. And play calling efficiency is easily the most important rating in the game. Even more important than facilities, I believe. So I would definitely go spread pass first. Now, if we did not find someone who matched our play calling or our playbook, we could hit refresh on this arrow. It'll refresh it as many times as you want to find someone that matches. Okay, for our defense, we want a 4-3, which is good, but we want a balanced man. So we'll take a quick look. There's no one who matches that exactly. This coach is actually really good for a first year too, even though he doesn't match perfectly to what I wanted to call for my defense. He is a level 10 recruiting coach with 6 training. So I'm going to make the decision to go to a 4-3 balanced zone. So now we're going to have a match on defensive playbook and play calling style. That's going to set up your team to have a lot of success by having coaches set up. Now, if you're trying to play to make the game harder or more realistic, I definitely would not try to maximize your coaching at the very beginning, because that kind of takes some of the difficulty out. Okay, let's just start with Florida. We'll just call this tips and strategies. Now this is going to take a little while, so I'll be right back. Okay, the universe has generated, so now we have our team. This is the time you can change positions. I would highly recommend not wasting your time trying to find the perfect balance. Most of the time when you try to change someone's position, they're already at their best position. Very rare that you can change it to make a difference. The only time I would ever recommend it is if you have a really small, I don't want to say terrible, but let's say you have not enough players in a position or they're not good enough, and you have a really overabundance somewhere else. For example, if you have many good DBs, which this team, not really, they're kind of about the same DBs and safeties. You can change one of your cornerbacks to a safety, possibly if you needed some more depth or a little slightly better player. It doesn't always work out. I just wouldn't recommend spending much time on it. However, if you just have to, I would go over to my team. I would go to all attributes, and then you're able to sort by the different attributes for different positions. So if you want to go for max speed, you could find someone who might need to play a different position. So this DB, Trey Duncan, is a 97 speed athlete with 79 evasion. If we wanted to change his position, change it, look at his attributes, He could move to a 69 receiver or 64 running back. He's already an 82 DB though. So I would, of course, in this situation, we wouldn't change him. So, but if you want to make that change, you can look at the attribute screen and that can help you. But my main recommendation is to really not waste your time looking at it. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, after off-season games, you're at game plan install. This is where you can see your effective play calling level, which I'm telling you is the most important rating in the entire game. Since we made sure our coaches matched earlier, we're at a level 12 play calling level. The highest level is 13. So once we improve our offensive coordinator by 1, we'll have a level 13 play calling level. So that's really good. So we can check into our defense, make sure they're matching. So 4-3, balanced zone. Now we're a level 10 play calling level. Not the best, of course, but still very high. Okay, this is about the time that a lot of new players start getting stressed out on what to do. But it's very simple. You can look at different things. You can look at thousands of players at this point, but just try to keep focused on what you want and you'll get it done. Trust me. So one of my first tips on the training session is to always train your starting quarterback. Now in this scenario, we have a senior that's an 80 D plus, but we already have a sophomore that's a 78 B minus. I would say always train your quarterback. In this situation, though, I would probably focus on training the backup at first to see if he can overtake the starters, because Omarion Bishop could be your starter for 3 more years if you're able to keep him in school. So we're going to train him. So always look at their weakest levels on quarterbacking. Now, I really have a high emphasis on quarterback IQ because that helps preventing turnovers as much as possible. However, his accuracy is terrible at 68. You do not want him on the field with that low of accuracy. So we're going to try to train that. Okay, we had a +5, which overall pushed him to a 79, so that's great. I would still recommend at this time for training Hawkins. Later on, we might decide not to, but we'll keep training him just in case Bishop cannot overtake him. Okay, next training tip. Try to make sure your offensive line is always 80 or above for your first 5 starters. For this team, they're already there. So we can kind of just try to bump them up a little bit. We have a couple of good linemen in the, or it looks like 6th and 7th, 9th. We have a lot of guys who can eventually help us. Well, I would try to recommend working on building up their skill. That's the lowest. So strength is 85. That's important for linemen. Run blocking 75. Pass blocking 79. Really no major deficiencies. So we're going to add to run blocking at this time. Even though we want to be a pass first team, we want to make sure when we do run the ball, he has a decent rating. So a nice bump there. We'll also, let's see how many trainings we got left. We got 3 coaching trainings left. We'll work on him as well. Try to improve his strength. Nice. Okay, next tip. Always train your kicker. I know some people will think that's crazy, but scoring points is very important. And I would only focus on accuracy. And you're like, well, his kick power is only 78 with an accuracy of 100 already. For the sim engine, as you develop kicking power, the AI will allow your kicker to attempt longer field goals that are not as makeable. So instead of maybe having a max range of 47, they're like, okay, let's let him try to kick a 54-yarder, and he misses it. So if you want to really be efficient on the kicking game, make sure the accuracy is high. Now, once you get your accuracy to above 100, you can work on power. This kicker starts off really well to begin with. We're still going accuracy first, though. So that's going to push him to a 104 accuracy, which is really good. Okay, we're going to go ahead and auto-assign the rest of these trainings. Making sure you have 3 good running backs is important. This team already has it. Or 2, especially 2. You really want 2 good running backs, but 3 is really good if you can. But right now, We're just going to auto assign the trainings, let the AI take care of it. You can dig deeper into this, but as a beginner, I don't want you to get too stressed out. So as long as you focus on your quarterback, your starting offensive line, and your kicker, I think you'll have a lot of success. Okay, now to the hardest part for a new player, recruiting. Okay, this can be kind of scary because the first time you start the game, you see 3,189 recruits found. Now, the number is going to be different for each save. It could be less, it could be more, but right now we have 3,189 recruits. It would be ridiculous to try to look through every single player. So I'm going to give you some ideas on how to find the right guys for your team. Okay, my first major tip of recruiting is to never let the AI recruit for you. They do a poor job. You will probably not get a good team. Even if this seems overwhelming at first, it is not. So, just my major tip to you guys is do not click on the auto recruiting button. I promise you, you're better off doing it yourself, or at least at this time. Okay, so we're back to the all recruit screen. And to make this easier, let's get rid of some of these 1 and 2 and 3 stars. Okay, we're starting off with a good school. We'll find out if anyone from that's 5 stars is good enough for us. And this rating right here, or this sorting right here, is very important. Interest score points ahead. So right now it shows us that we have an 85 score for Florida. We open it up and we realize we are currently number 1 for Marion Barrett, which is also the name of our quarterback, or at least first name. So I would definitely target him. However, our next guy, we're behind. Could we beat Georgia for this player? It is possible. The interest score is not that far behind. However, it'd be pretty hard, especially since it's your first game, or it could be one of your first games. I would not recommend trying to get in a battle since we have 4 teams with higher interest scores than us. Now, it's really close and not a major difference, but it will be a very hard battle. So let's quit looking at 5 stars, because since we sorted by interest score points ahead, every other one we click on, we're going to be further and further behind. So let's check out 4 stars. So now remember earlier when we had over 3,000 players to look at? Right now we only have 284. We're also sorting by interest score points ahead. So we already have guys that we have the best chance to get. For example, we have a 19-point lead on Mississippi State, which is the second best team. We are definitely in the front running to get Ty Ryan. However, we might not want him. This is the next tip I'm going to show you. Scout him twice. And at this time, before any balance changes are made, this allows you to see their potential. Now, a 67 linebacker C+ is not terrible. You could recruit this guy and not be that poor off. However, I like to stay focused on B and better potential players. However, if their ratings are high enough, for example, Ryan's rating at this time is pretty high, I would probably still recruit him. But rule of thumb is B potential or better is usually what you're looking for. Now, as you become an elite program like an Alabama, an Ohio State, a Georgia type team, you can focus on B+ or more, or even A- and above. It really just depends on you. But as I said, the major tip is to scout twice. See Angel Pimentel. D. Even though he's a 67 level lineman and his rating is increasing, it's possible he could even increase any more. His potential is very low to begin with. Okay, now some players like recruiting junior college players. I usually stay with the high school guys. Okay, C-. He is a 75 receiver, but C-. C+, A-. So we're definitely going to target Jet Kaufman. Okay, I'm out of scouts. So what should I do? Just add all these players that we have interest advantage to our target list. Now, it's always good as you go to always occasionally check to make sure you're still targeting guys you have a score advantage on. As you can see, we have a 7-point lead on this guy. So let's just keep adding a few more. Maybe scroll down to the bottom and make sure we still have the lead. And we do. So we can add all these targets. As you can see, I'm not even caring what positions they play. But after going through a little bit, especially after you add about 30 or so targets, so we'll do that pretty quick. You can scroll up here and you can see your targeted recruits, what the AI thinks you need, which is not always accurate, but is important. So you can see these different things right here. So it looks like we're pretty good on receivers, so we could actually take receivers off for now. Now, once we find out what kind of receivers we're recruiting and if their potential is good enough for us, we might be able to add one or two more, or we might not, because we're going to take some of these guys off, of course. So now we can see we really need to focus on offensive line and linebackers and running backs. So at this time, we could probably take some of these other positions off. You do not have to, but it makes it even easier to find the guys you need. So we're going to have linebackers, we're going to have offensive line, and running backs. Remember to always select on exclude target recruits, as this takes away anyone you've already targeted. Also, as you play, right now it's not a big deal, but as you play, you're going to scout a lot of players you do not need. So if you go to minimal potential and select unscouted only, it's going to take away anyone that you already know their potential. So that kind of cleans up the list. So now the 4-star list that we are at now is only 111 recruits to look through. It's getting easier, right? So we'll scroll down to the bottom, make sure we still have interest score advantage. We do not. So let's stay up here, do a couple of spot checks. We're tied here at offensive line. So it looks like we're going to have a couple of tough battles for these players. But we need to add them. We need to pick them up. We'll see if we're really far behind. Now we're 2 points behind. So since this is your first game, I would recommend not going too much further below that. So now we have 23 targets of 4 stars or better. But here is a major tip for you. 3-star players can and will be often better than some 4 and 5-star players. It's just going to happen. It happens in real life. It happens in the game. Couple things to make this easier on you. We're still trying to fit our positions. Offensive line, we've found 7. So we could actually pull back from those guys for now. Running back, we still have a need for. Linebackers, we still have a need for. Here's a couple of tips to help you out. So we're still setting interest score points ahead. So for example, for Johnson right here, we have a huge advantage over all these other schools. If we targeted him, there's almost no chance we could lose out to these teams. However, we might not need him. He's a 57 rated running linebacker. So now after we scout him, we could find out if he's better or not. I would recommend at this time setting a minimum overall rating to look at. Now this rating is not guaranteed. Once you scout, they could drop or whatnot. However, since we're looking at running backs and linebackers, let's see if there's any 3-star players 65 and better. And like I said, I'm not a huge fan of junior college players. You can definitely use them, but I like the high school players. You have them for longer, they can build up. Okay, after doing this, we have a few players show up. We can add them to our target list, especially if we have advantage, which we do. Now, once we scout these players, we might find out they're not good enough for us. We don't need them, maybe 2 more running backs. And we'll find out. Okay, take a look at linebackers, make sure we still have an advantage, which we do. Add a few more of those guys. Just trying to do a quick look if there's anyone like 70 or above. Let's see that. If there's anyone 70 or above, definitely want to look at them. And they're not, because it's kind of based on their initial rating is kind of what sets the stars. So it makes sense not to have a 70 rated linebacker at 3-star. Okay, we have 32 targets now. We can kind of go back to all positions for now. Interest score points ahead. Here's a 74 rated receiver. We're definitely ahead of everyone else by almost 40 points. So we can definitely add Dawson. Okay, looks like we're getting close to our list. I would like to have a quarterback. Let's take someone off the list. We really don't need that many receivers. I mean, we're going to eventually find out some are not high potential. So we're going to get rid of Brady. I wonder if he's related to Tom. Who knows? All right, let's find that quarterback. Jordan Vaughn. There we go. Okay, so we have 40 targets. Go into this recruiting section here. Now you go to My Targets. You can either give them a pitch or attend camp. If they attend camp, they get a large boost to scouting percentage. So I'm trying not to confuse you guys. First, I just want to show you you can set your own order for your players. Once you learn about these players, you can set what order you want the AI to determine who gets the scholarship. Because you can only get, during the regular season, you can only get 25 players max. So if you end up getting more commits than that, for example, let's say we already have 20 commits, then Jamie Seals would not get the scholarship. We would sign these first 5 players. However, in the off season, you can sign as many as you can to get to 85. So I know that sounds like a lot to add to you right now, but it's not confusing. We're going to have more videos talking about later on in the season. I just kind of want to show you you have the ability to change the order. Okay, this is where I usually spend most of my time. I set potential, so I find out who we've already found out about their potential. Jet Kaufman, we know he's an A-. We really don't need to waste a camp visit on him. And if you start off early with a pitch, even if you're behind, you can get ahead. Now we're already ahead of this guy, so it's going to really help us. Okay, quick recommendation here. Head coach pitches are good, but you could definitely do better with the actual coordinator pitch. And this coordinator in this situation actually has badges to make his pitch even better. So an ace pitch from this defensive coordinator is worth 590 points. Our head coach on his great pitch is only 366. So for each week we use this DC pitch ace, we're getting major jumps. Okay, like I said, Ty Ryan, C+. I don't think we're going to give him a pitch, even though we're keeping him on our list for now. He is not a high priority recruit. Now, if we find out he's actually a 75 rated linebacker, then yes, we'll focus on him. Okay, this button over here, preserve actions between weeks. You really want this, okay? It will save you time, so much time each week, okay? By selecting this icon, now Jet Kaufman will have the DC pitch ace every week without us having to redo it. It is just automating the process a little bit so you don't have to click on it again. Okay, now I could go by and click on attend camps and send pitches and all these kind of things. However, that's really a waste of time, especially this first week. We don't know if we want to keep recruiting these players. So to save you time, I would click on auto assign recruiting actions. Okay, the AI did everything for us now. They're going to set camp visits. We're good to go. Okay, we're done with week 1 of recruiting. Okay, guys, spring 2. And now this video is going a lot longer than I kind of planned for a tips and strategy video to do. I'm kind of giving a tutorial as well. So just remember, focus on the quarterbacks. You can do that. Focus on your kicking. Focus on your line. I'm going to leave training alone for right now. Let's go to recruiting where people get confused. So we found out about more players. Stay on your My Target side. Anyone with potential score that you do not want. For example, Marion Barrett, the only 5-star player that was interested in Florida. We do have a nice lead on him. However, he's a D+ potential player. He is not going to gain huge amounts. Now, he could, especially if you have really good facilities. If he bounces up 4 points a year, he's getting close to 100 receiver. 5 points a year, he's there. It could be your choice to go after him or not. I would actually go for him since he has such a high rating, 81 overall. He's the second best receiver in the country, or at least the pre-rankings he was. I would keep going after him. However, most of the time, once you find out if a player is below a B minus potential, I would cut him from your list. So Brian Driver right here, remove. Steven Chandler, only a 72 C minus, remove. We're going to hold on to Barrett. The 70 rated running back, remove. Okay. So now you will click clear all recruiting actions, which seems like you're like, why are you telling me that? You want to open your pitches back up quickly. So you can go ahead and give your great pitch to Kaufman again, but now we have some more pitches to add. There we go. We can just add a couple. Actually, probably go with offensive coordinator good, even though it's slightly behind. And as you can see, you can offer these different pitches right now to get those players. I just want to show you that part. So as you can see, we've only lost 3 players off our target list. We can go back to recruits. We can see if there's any positions in need. For example, tight end would be a very good one to go after. We can add some more tight ends at this time. Find out by scouting only 30% to find out the potential players that we want to add to our list. And you can just stay focused on your 40 target list. Each week you have someone on your target list, their potential and their ratings are more revealed. As you can see, Nathan Self, we haven't spent any camp visits or scouting on him, but we already have 8%. So each week they will gain 8%. So even if you cannot spend scouting on him, now we could right now, but even if we couldn't, we could eventually find out his potential and more of his ratings. So don't be stressed out saying, well, I only have 10 scouting, actions, I guess you can call the word, scouting actions. So you're like, I have 40 players. How am I going to find out? You will be able to find out. Don't be stressed. The camp visits give a lot of potential percentage. You will find out who these players are. Okay, guys, this went really long. I apologize. I really was trying to make this a shorter video to help you at the very beginning. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps you in a little bit. I will make more videos for in-season recruiting and playing, of course, and the after-season recruiting. So transfer portal is very important, and that's going to be part 3. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.